Every Sunday worshipper will stand before God and tremble in fear. There is a day coming when every soul will stand before the judgment seat of Christ. Many will approach with confidence, churchgoers, faithful tithers, those who believed they followed Jesus, but their confidence will melt into fear. Why? Because they worshipped God on a day He never sanctified, Sunday. You've been told Sunday is the Lord's day. But who told you that? God or man? The Bible is clear. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Exodus 20:8-10. God never blessed the first day of the week, not in creation, not through the prophets, not by Jesus, not by the apostles. Sunday worship is a man-made invention, introduced centuries after Christ through the pagan Roman Empire and the papal church system. Jesus never changed the Sabbath. He said, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law. Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law." Matthew 5:17-18. The Sabbath is part of God's moral law, written with His own finger in stone. Immutable, eternal. In contrast, Sunday worship was enforced by Constantine in 321 AD, not by God. The Council of Laodicea, centuries later, officially banned Sabbath observance and elevated Sunday in its place. This isn't God's law, it's man's rebellion. And the consequences? Eternal. Revelation 14:9-10. warns that those who receive the mark of the beast, those who accept false worship enforced by religious and civil powers, will drink of the wine of God's wrath, poured out without mixture. In the final crisis, Sunday worship will be enforced globally in the name of peace and unity. Those who conform will receive the mark of the beast. Those who stand on God's Sabbath will be persecuted, but saved. You may say, "God knows my heart." Yes, He does, and He knows if your heart is humble or defiant. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter, but he that doeth the will of my Father. Matthew 7:21. If the Bible clearly tells you the seventh day is the Sabbath, and you choose Sunday instead, you are rejecting God's will. Isaiah 66:23 tells us that in the new earth all flesh will come to worship God from one Sabbath to another. Why would God restore the Sabbath in eternity if it had been abolished? Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." The Fourth Commandment says the Sabbath is the seventh day, not Sunday. That's not legalism, that's loyalty. And here's the challenge to every skeptic, every Sunday keeper. Show us one verse where God changed the Sabbath to Sunday. One verse where Jesus commanded Sunday worship. One verse where the apostles taught the first day was holy. You can't, because it doesn't exist. But what you will find is this: God never changes. His commandments are forever, and every act of disobedience, no matter how religious it looks, will be judged. There's coming a day when the churches will realize they were worshipping on the wrong day. There will be wailing, trembling, and fear, not because God didn't warn them, but because they ignored His voice. Now is the time to turn back, not to tradition, but to truth. Not to man-made religion, but to God's word. The final test is about worship, true worship versus false worship. God is calling His people out of Babylon. Will you obey?